Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. A meeting of the European Council is taking place in Brussels. Charles Michel from Belgium is chairing the meeting for the first time since becoming president of the Council. The talks are focused on the new EU plan announced yesterday to achieve climate neutrality and the new EU budget. Alexandra Zajicka, our special correspondent, reports from Brussels.
Yesterday, the European Commission presented a new long-term program until 2050, the European Green Deal. In order to help various countries meet the expected milestones, a fund of about 100 billion euros is being proposed, called the Just Transition Fund. The program presented is challenging and complicated, and for some countries might be very difficult to achieve. The European Council is meeting for the first time to discuss the complicated implications for various member countries, implications for the economy and their citizenry. The changes are called radical by some politicians, and there are concerns about the cost. Poland is dependent on a coal for its energy supply, and the Polish Prime Minister will address just that.
Climate change is the #1 priority for this afternoon's meeting. I hope we will have an agreement. Climate neutrality is a very important goal. It is also a strong signal for the future of Europe.
Polska dokonała ogromnych wysiłków przez ostatnie lata, żeby redukować emisje CO2 i żeby też
Poland has made enormous efforts in recent years in order to reduce CO2 emissions and to work on climate programs such as clean air. We will continue those efforts. We need to point out here that the cost of energy source transformation is much higher than in other countries, which had more luck and developed some of the green energy sources earlier. We have to take into account all aspects of cost for Poland, such as costs borne by society and costs incurred by the Polish economy. We are here to explain our situation to other EU members.
Energetykę atomową. I dzięki temu ma dzisiaj bardzo niskoemisyjny system.
Besides climate change, the discussion of the current session will also focus on a budget discussions. There is no anticipation of reaching a full agreement. The negotiations are described as difficult and it will take some time to work out a satisfactory agreement. The European Commission is also to discuss an extension of sanctions against Russia in connection with the conflict in Ukraine.
Donald Tusk, the former president of the European Council, has published a book of memoirs, ironically titled Honestly. Commentators whom we asked about the book, which takes the form of Tusk's personal recollections, said the book is just another example of his vanity.
A lot of controversy surrounds not only the contents of the book, but also its title, Honestly. The title is disturbing on its own, as Honestly doesn't fit any politician and especially not Donald Tusk. He published it to remain popular, nothing else. I don't understand why, as he already has the position of the leader of the Christian Democrats in the EU, and I can't see him gaining more importance than that. Columnist Maciej Mankowski from the Do Rzeczy newspaper quoted part of the book, so as he says, no one else will have to go through the experience of reading it all. Slowly, our Tuscan vacation comes to an end. A week in paradise. Adam and Eve surely fought between themselves too. A shepherd's house transformed into agroturismo near Satiano with no living soul nearby, only mountains and a forest, and a large pool and a view of the volcanic mountain Monte Amiatra. Yesterday in Assisi I did the fresco by Giotto from my 100, the one with St. Francis and birds. With Gosia we followed the footsteps of Piero della Francesco, Monturchi, Arezzo, San Sepolcro. I could look at the frescoes portraying the history of the Holy Cross for hours, just as I could look at the resurrection of the Holy Mary with Child. Officially, Donald Tusk won't be running for president in the upcoming presidential elections in Poland. However, it is still rumored that he might announce his candidature just before the elections. Next Saturday, Tusk will hold an authors' meeting with readers in one of Wrocław's bookstores.
A government spokesman, Piotr Muller, said on the Radio 1 that the president of Warsaw, Rafał Trzaskowski, will need help to deal with the failure at the city heating plant, which has left several areas of the city without heat. He also said that this is a common problem in Warsaw.
Firma nawaliła.
The company in question was privatized. I don't know why. It's easy to say now that the privatized company failed. It's easy to blame the private company. Several thousand people in Warsaw don't have heat. Streets are blocked. It's a typical evasion of responsibility.
A nie dałoby się tego jakoś...
Is it possible to change it back?
Monopolisty, jak pan
W
powiedział.
tej chwili takie decyzje należą do...
The decision is on the mayor, Rafał Trzaskowski's side. After a few years of the civic platform rule, we decided to buy PKO SA Bank because some of the banks and companies are really important for our national safety.
Zakup chociażby banku PKO SA.
Tonight, at 10 p.m. UK time, when the polling stations close, we will have the results of the exit polls from today's UK general election. Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative Party is the favourite to win. If the party does win a majority, the Prime Minister will be able to end the first phase of Brexit by passing his withdrawal agreement into law by the 31st of January next year.
Today's parliamentary elections in Great Britain will not only decide who will govern the country, but will help to answer the question of Brexit. Party leaders Jo Swinson, Jeremy Corbyn, Nicola Sturgeon and Boris Johnson voted early in the morning. The Prime Minister caused a scene by going to the polling station with his dog, but he did not reveal to reporters who he thought would win the race. The First Minister of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, and Jeremy Corbyn, head of the Labour Party, were hoping for a good result for their respective parties.
MP type of candidate, so I'm looking forward to getting him to be elected today. But Scotland's opportunity today to block out the Tories and escape the whole Brexit mess and also put Scotland's future in Scotland's hands. So
what's at stake today, Mr. Corbyn? A great victory.
The Conservative Party is favourite to win the elections. In recent polls, they had an advantage of 5 to 12 points over the Labour Party, led by Jeremy Corbyn. If this is reflected in today's vote, the Tories will win the expected majority in the House of Commons, which is likely to allow Boris Johnson to carry out Brexit on the terms of his withdrawal agreement. Many Britons do not hide their frustration at the deep political divisions and that Brexit has caused.
I was quite unsure on who to... I had an idea of who I wanted to vote for, but I think it was based... Yeah, I think it was obviously based largely around Brexit and what the next steps were, so that was, yeah, what I based my vote on.
I'm sort of sad we're here again, really. It feels like 5 minutes since we've done this, and if anything, we've gone backwards, not forwards. And it's an election that should have been dominated by Brexit and has to a certain extent, but locally at least we are deluged in the anti-Semitism row. And I think a lot of people...
I think the lies, the exaggeration, the lack of courtesy, the backslanging, the treating the public as stupid. I think more than anything, I have been shouting at radio and television for a year saying, do you think we're stupid?
The polling stations will stay open until 11 p.m. Polish time. After the exit polls results appear, the results from individual constituencies will be coming in through the night. The first meeting of the new parliament is scheduled for December 17th.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.
Hello and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. The forecast for tonight will bring freezing rain to Gdańsk, Olsztyn, Łódź and Warsaw, where the temperatures will vary from 0 to 2 degrees below zero. The eastern coast will see cloudy skies and temperatures of 1 degree. The rest of the country will see partly cloudy skies and temperatures varying from 2 to -2 degrees. Tomorrow we can expect freezing rain in Olsztyn and Gdańsk and rain in Warsaw, where the temperatures will vary from 2 to 4 degrees. Białystok can expect cloudy skies and a high of 3 degrees. The rest of the country will see partly cloudy skies and temperatures of 2 to 5 degrees. The next 3 days will bring showers and partly cloudy skies on Saturday. By Sunday, the front will move towards the northwest, where we will see showers and snow. That is all for now. I thank you for joining us, and I invite you to stay with us for Poland Daily Business.
Poland Daily Business. Our guest tonight is Jerzy Bielewicz, Gazeta Bankowa writer and financial analyst. Sir, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you for the invitation.
Very important time in Europe, a crucial week, because we are expecting the solution of the long saga of Brexit. Will it finally happen? Will Britons decide this way or another?
It will take some time, but Great Britain would not be a part of European Union pretty soon, I believe. It should happen, I would say, in next 3 to 4 months, that they would exit European Union. And this election on December 12th would be the step in the right direction, in my opinion. But it's not only Brexit, it's also tariffs. I would remind you that on December 15th, there would be a new tariffs introduced by the United States on Chinese goods. And this time it's very serious, because the tariffs would be put on computers, notebooks, cellular phones, and Christmas gifts coming from China.
The Christmas gifts, I would dare to say that are already within the borders of the United States, so I don't think this tariff will mean much to the goods and services that already have been provided.
And but it would change it might change consumer
awareness.
Behavior.
Maybe the people will be less likely to buy things from China.
Exactly.
Isn't this a part of negotiations? Just another way of pursuing China towards complying with United States' demands?
In my opinion, we are witnessing creation of a new world order with 2 superpowers, which is the United States, as always, and the upcoming power is China. And these 2 superpowers contribute 40% of goods and services to global GDP. So they have power to exert their will on other smaller players. And I believe that it's never-ending story about negotiations. And there is a reason, because both parties to those negotiations like it this way. In the meantime, the commercial justice system in China changes. And there are changes in law which are good for the United States and for Germany, for European Union. There won't be a big accord between the US and China. That's a game. That's a game which will take years. And beside trade, there would be other components added to these negotiations. For example, defense, military, and the NATO summit in London. The declaration of the summit mentioned China for the first time. And what's very, very important...
As a rival to the NATO, which originally was planned to defend like northern Atlantic part of the world. Now it's going to look elsewhere for a potential dangerous potential threats.
There is a very, very important point in this new declaration, that NATO countries would introduce 5G network, and one of the criterion would be the security of this network.
That excludes the Chinese company of Huawei?
It might be the case. Yeah, exactly.
But there are already deals being signed in Germany, for example. Will they have to revert or cancel these deals?
They are part of this declaration, NATO countries' declaration, and it's a serious thing. I would say, in case of Poland, we'd like to be part of Western world, not Eastern world. So for me, especially for Poland, when security issues are very important, that's the right choice for Poland to build a 5G network together with the United States and Western companies.
Although this is not a very easy thing, since the most of patents for this technology are being owned by Chinese companies.
Really?
Well, they are. That's what the telecom people are saying, but maybe they are exaggerating, as always. Sir, thank you very much for this conversation. Very interesting and exciting part of week in front of us.
Exactly.
Jerzy Bielewicz, financial analyst and Gazeta Bankowa writer, was our guest tonight. And that was it for Poland Daily Business.
Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily Business Weather. The forecast for tomorrow will bring showers to Warsaw and freezing rain to Olsztyn and Gdańsk. We can expect cloudy skies in Białystok and partly cloudy skies in the rest of the country. The temperatures will vary tomorrow between 2 and 5 degrees. In Europe, we can expect showers in the central regions of the continent and snow in Stockholm and Oslo. Cloudy skies are expected in the Far East as well as in the city of Madrid. The rest of the continent can expect partly cloudy skies. The warmest spot on the map will be Athens at 16 degrees, while the coldest will be Vilnius and Moscow at 1 degree above zero. And that is all for now. I thank you for joining us, and I invite you to stay with us for further Poland Daily programs.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and welcome to Poland Daily Culture. In this series of programs, I'll be talking to Julia Gintrowska, daughter of the noted Polish songwriter and singer Przemysław Gintrowski. Julia, thank you for being with us.
Hi, thank you. It's a pleasure.
But before we start the interview, let's listen how Julia interpreted one of her father's well-loved songs. Julia, we know a lot about your father, Przemysław Gintrowski, but we don't know so much about you. And could you tell us more what you are interested in? I know that you study in a film academy, so you study film, but you also sing music and you sing your father's songs. What are your interests?
To give you more. I'm also studying in Warsaw Warsaw School of Economics. Yeah.
Where are you studying there? Economy?
Financial and accounting. So yeah, but don't talk about it. I don't like it.
So you are also more down to earth.
No, it was like, you know, I really love math, so that's why.
You like math?
Yeah.
So you are interested in film and music and mathematics?
Yeah, I really like math.
Interesting.
Yeah. My dad was studying physics, and he was the person who taught me maths when I was a little girl.
Amazing, interesting.
Yeah. So he was my teacher too. He actually taught math in Frisch, is a Polish high school in Warsaw.
Probably not many people know that one of our most important poetry singer, a Polish version of Leonard Cohen, was teaching mathematics at school.
Yeah, because my grandpa was really down to earth, and my grandmother was singing in the folk band, and she was dancing also. And oh, this is a funny story. She actually gave him like red, I think it was red, red plastic saxophone, and he was on the rehearsals, and he was playing on it.
Oh, that's very funny. That's sweet.
During their
rehearsals. Interesting. And tell us more about your film path. So you're also in a film academy. What are you doing there?
Yeah, I'm in a film academy. I'm studying in sound. So it's like sound design more. I'm really connected to the music because I'm do post-production of the films, but I'm also working on sets. So yeah.
What you're doing on sets?
I'm like the sound person. It depends if I'm alone or if I have my friend. But I'm usually on the mixer.
So you're focusing on music, but also singing. How have you been singing since your childhood? How did it all work? Did you have any teachers?
I actually was in music school, so for all my life I'm in 2 schools, so it's like that's why I was on SGH.
And now you're again in 2 schools.
Yeah.
So all your life your life is divided to 2.
Yeah, all the time. I was in music school. I played the piano. I was in class of piano. I wasn't singing there. We have choir, so we sing in the choir, but my first steps in like singing was like in middle school, more like high school, middle school, more high school.
And did you have teacher there?
Yeah, I had teachers, because I was in a lot of workshops too, so I met a lot of people. And now I have my special teacher. But actually I have 2 more teachers, because all the teachers have different point of view, and they can tell you more about your voice.
I see. So you're working right now with your own teacher on your voice, are you?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Oh, it's ups and downs. It's all the time, because your voice is your organism. So when you are feeling bad, it's not working so well. It's not like piano.
I see.
So yeah, I think I'm getting better, I think, and it's the most important thing. But, voice is something which is annoying. Seriously, it's so annoying, because you all the time have to fight with your problems from past, because, we have some tendency in our voice, and it's hard to get rid of it.
I see. And what are your plans for the future? Would you like, for example, to record a CD?
Yeah, why not? Some records. We can start from single.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But would you like to write the music as well?
Yeah.
All your lyrics?
Yes.
Are you trying to write lyrics? Do you work at home on it? Could you share this with us? Tell us more of the details.
Oh my God, it's like I write things, but it's so in chaos. It's all the time in chaos. Like I have some idea and you changing it all the time. But I'm not so lyric person, more into music.
I see. So if you would like to summarize yourself, instead of saying Julia Przemysłowska-Introwski daughter, how would you like to describe yourself?
I'm Julia. I really like music, and I have double life, and I'm quite crazy. I think I have crazy life, and I do a lot of different stuffs, and all the time people are shocked about my combinations of studies. I like myself and I like what I'm going to do in the future.
It's a good message to all young people that you can combine music with mathematics. And as I guess, you can combine other things together. If Przemysław Gintrowski could teach physics in high school, everything is possible. And thank you for watching Poland Daily Culture.
For Poland, the 19th century was a century of struggle for independence, and thus a century which for Poles did not end until the 11th of November 1918, when a new, independent Poland emerged from the ashes of the First World War. This is the story of how the 1905 revolution led, as those of 1830 and 1863 had not, to independence and of the emergence of Józef Pilsudski as the leader of a reborn Poland. For Poland, the 19th century was a century of struggle for independence, and thus a century which for Poles did not end until the 11th of November 1918, when a new, independent Poland emerged from the ashes of the First World War. This is the story of how the 1905 revolution led, as those of 1830 and 1863 had not, to independence, and of the emergence of Józef Pilsudski as the leader of a reborn Poland. Welcome to Poland Daily History with me, Nicholas Richardson. And we're continuing our series of looking at all things rebellious and revolutionary. We started with the 1830 revolution in Poland, the uprising. We then went on to the 1863 uprising. And now we're going to start with the 1905 revolution in Russia, which led on to a series of events, ultimately, at the end of the First World War, seeing the re-emergence of Poland as an independent country. And I'm joined in the studio by our resident expert, Dominik Szczęsny-Kosternecki. Dominik, welcome.
We've got those four types of attitude. So first, and we'll just mention it and we'll put it aside, we've got the loyalists. The loyalists realize that it's a great opportunity to show loyalty to the Tsar. So they organized, they raised money to send it to the front. But that was this loyalist movement or wing didn't have much support. Okay, done. Check. Then we've got, and now this is more powerful. We've got the National Democrats, or the Endecja, NDs, National Democrats, NDs, led by Roman Dmowski, Piłsudski's greatest opponent, and the one who had a very, very different plan what Poland should be in the future than Piłsudski. So we've got it starts at that time, but throughout the whole period and throughout the interwar period, and even after that, after the Second World War, we've got those two types of attitude and two plans and two visions of what Poland should be. For the National Democrats, Poland should be a Catholic state of the Polish nation.
Okay, that's very clear. Yeah,
that's very clear. For Piłsudski, Piłsudski accentuated, social reforms. But for him, I mean, he didn't. First of all, he didn't treat Poland as a ethnic unity.
No, he was very much more for a sort of course, probably his own background. He wasn't from.
I mean, he came from Lithuania. Till the end of his life, he spoke with a very heavy Lithuanian accent. I mean, we can hear it. We can listen to it on YouTube because there is a recording. I mean,
that's fascinating.
He's fascinating. He's one of the first Polish politicians to be recorded. And it's very funny because he said he's sitting next to the gramophone and he's saying, "This gramophone is recording me." I mean, what a joke! I mean, it's like so my voice will quit my body and will be sold to the public for 3 pennies. Ho ho ho! That's amusing. I mean, it's very nice. And he says that with this heavy Lithuanian accent, and he knew because he spent his youth in Lithuania, and so he knew that we are surrounded. I mean, okay, we can talk about Poland as the Congress Kingdom, and there, but not. In the Congress Kingdom, the Poles were majority, but still there was a Jewish minority. But in the wider Poland, in the wider context, you've got all those Ukrainians, Belarusians, Lithuanians, Armenians in Lviv, and so, Lithuanians, and so on and so on. So Piłsudski knew that it's a mosaic, and we cannot regard. So for Piłsudski, Polishness was not that somebody spoke Polish with the Mazovian accent, but the state of mind.
Yes.
So everybody who wanted to, I mean, he would even proclaim Georgians Poles. I mean, he would proclaim, give them the right to call themselves Poles if they were willing to.
Which is very enlightened, actually, quite forward-thinking.
Forward-thinking, and he knew, and of course, there were major differences between Piłsudski and Moski as to how. I mean, who is the greatest enemy of Poland? And Piłsudski said the Germans, because their civilization, is more developed, and so on and so on. So that is the threat. Piłsudski said no, they are so different that Poles don't get Germanized very easily. The Russians are the problem because they occupy like 85% of the Polish soil. I mean, with all these eastern borderlands, that would be it. And that the Russian political culture is very dangerous because it's dangerous to our notion of freedom. So two completely different visions. And I wouldn't dare to say that, of course, I'm a fan of Piłsudski.
Yes.
He's closer to my heart. But I wouldn't say that Moski was an idiot. That what he said, that what he proposed was completely, that it didn't have any sense. And so we've got these two powerful programs that are still present in Polish politics. I mean, the ruling party, the PiS, Prawo i Sprawiedliwość, they tend to appeal to Piłsudski's legacy.
That's interesting.
You've got this small party to the right, Konfederacja, which won like 5 or 6%.
That's right.
For them, I mean, Piłsudski is a terrorist. And we'll come to that later, why a terrorist. For them, their hero is Moski.
Yes. So in Poland, in the revolution of 1905, which really in Poland, the sort of the sort of event sort of continued to 1906, 1907, which was a fairly, as of course industrialized, was a fairly major centre of activity, as I recall in the 1905 Polish.
You mean Łódź?
Łódź,
yes. Yeah, sometimes in English it's sometimes called Lodz.
Well, no, it's only because people can't work out that the L is pronounced more like a W.
I mean, it's a boat. It means a boat. Yes, because Łódź was sometimes it was called a Polish Manchester.
Yes.
I mean, the heart of Polish-Russian textile industry, and a great number of factories and a great number of workers. And yes, in June there was a regular, and sometimes we call it in historiography the so-called June uprising. That's so the one that broke out in Łódź. There were between 150 and 200 casualties, so not a lesser thing. Pacified very brutally by Cossack cavalrymen, and that's yet another picture. Because when we think about 1905, we think of Piłsudski, we think of Dmowski, we think of this school strike. So that that broke out in February 1905. The youth
and continued off and on for about 3 years, didn't it? I mean, extraordinary to think of it now, but that's a long time.
those I won't bring up the names because it would be too much, but those youth organizations that were created mostly by the National Democrats. That's interesting. This work over youth and kids. I mean, it gave fruits. So that these young people were so had such a great sense of nationality, so that they could put their career at stake, jeopardize their career, and refrain from attending school for, as you said, for almost a year. Because they knew that they were fighting for something bigger than themselves.
Yes, well, that's very important in revolutions or rebellions, I think, that people have to fight for an ideal.
Yeah.
Well, hello folks, we made it to Gdansk, and welcome to another stirring edition of Poland Daily Travel. The only problem is I'm looking for my friend Glenn, and we were supposed to meet him by this park, and I didn't see him in front of the mill. And here I am in front of the mill with all these locks of all these people who are in love with each other, and they put these locks on there to show their great affection, and I guess they can come here when they're divorced and look at those locks and go, oh well, didn't work. Hey, Glenn! Here he is. Here he is. Glenn's a rock and roll star, a DJ. He's a legend in this area, and not only, he got a couple of gold records. Hey, buddy. Good to see you.
You're already filming.
Glenn, you got taller.
It's the shoes.
What are you wearing? Are you wearing lifts?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Good. You yes, sir. Me. You're like Sylvester Stallone. You're wearing lifts now.
Yeah. You like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. I'll be back. Yeah. No, it's good to see you, man.
You found the right place. You're in Gdansk.
Yeah. No, you said we've been here. We only been here half an hour waiting. I'm joking. You were waiting for us, probably.
I'm ready.
Looking for us. Listen, man, we just came up. We came up through, we did the road trip, the Route 7, the national route. Mm-hmm. We went through, we stopped at Nijica. There's a nice little castle there, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, the Teutonic Knights?
Yes.
You know, those guys like to hang out, you know? Yeah. In the old days.
Varmia, Missouri. Varmia, right? Or is it Missouri?
Varmia,
It's right where those come together.
That's Missouri.
Varmia and Missouri, they mix together like that.
Yeah, you probably know more about it than I do.
They're borderline.
You're a northern kind of guy. I'm a Warsaw South kind of guy.
Yes.
I like Lubelska. I like the Świętokrzyskie. You're a northern guy. You love being up here. Yeah. How long have you've lived here off and on?
For me, when I'm in Europe, it's kind of like when I'm in Poland, it's kind of a mirror image of the way I am in the States. Mm-hmm. In the States, I like to be in the South. Mm-hmm. And when I'm in Poland, I like to be in the North.
You like to be in the North. Oh, I see. Yeah. And when I'm in the States, I like to be in the South. And when I'm in Poland, I like to be in the South. You're more original. That's terrible.
It's a mirror image. But you're more consistent.
Yeah. Now
I love the South too, but I really like the.
You're from Texas.
Yes, I am. It's not about being closer to the pole for me. I like North Poland because of the Kashubian region and the Masurian region, the lakes and the clean air and things like that.
Yeah, because you like you're still a vegetarian, aren't you?
Yeah, and I breathe oxygen.
Well, that's too bad. I was buying steaks for supper, but you know, he just doesn't get one. He'll get a lot of broccoli.
I'll take a beer. I'll take a beer.
You get a beer and some broccoli. Okay, sounds very good. We're going to go later. We're going to go and see. We're going to go to the Absinthe, the famous cafe club, right?
Yeah, and they're having their last birthday party. This is
coming up.
Yeah, this is coming up soon.
I heard that. I was talking to Carl, who will join us at some point in future episodes. The other thing is that let's advertise. I already said you had a couple of gold records. I wasn't lying, was I?
1 platinum and 2 gold.
Yeah, I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying, folks. Star. So the other thing is that you have a concert on Saturday, right?
Yes, we're going to play James Brown.
You do a James Brown band, don't you?
Yeah, with a full squad, three saxophones, trumpet, and all the other stuff.
If you've never seen Glenn, you have videos there, don't you?
Yeah, there's something there.
There's
not
something?
a lot, but we're working on more.
If they wanted to find it, could they look somewhere?
Funk Motor. Funk Motor,
folks, on the YouTube, and you will see some very funky James Brown kind of stuff. Yeah. Now I'm from Virginia, but I also spent time in Atlanta. So I know Mr. James Brown.
Yeah.
And the Parliamentary Funkadelic.
Yeah, it's mostly about Georgia, South Carolina, and a little bit of Cincinnati.
It's crazy.
That's what their history is.
Yeah.
They go to Cincinnati to record. They went to record, but they're from mostly Georgia and South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina's a crazy state. Just wild over there. Did you know, Georgia's the peach state, but South Carolina has more peaches. Now that, I find that odd, but it's true.
Because they probably wanted the Kitty Hawk on their license plate. Is the Kitty Hawk, is that South Carolina?
No, that's North Carolina.
Ah, okay.
Kitty Hawk's where the Wright brothers were, right? Yeah. So, but you've been living in Gdansk off and on for quite a while. You lived in California recently, not so long ago.
I was in Chicago for a while. I was in Vietnam.
You were in Vietnam. That was an interesting thing. I remember.
You sent me off.
That's right. That was some years ago. Yeah, when you went to Vietnam. Yeah, and you took your dogs because you have whippets.
Yes. Now
Glenn
I just
has
have one.
whippets, folks.
Just one now.
They're beautiful. But you had 3 at one time,
yes.
didn't you?
One stayed in California. She was very young. She stayed.
Yeah.
She got her green card or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the
She
other
got a
one,
green card.
and the other one, he died of old age.
Doggy green card.
Yes.
Yeah. And the one who died was called
Astra.
And the one you have now is called
Rocket.
Rockets, and they're great frisbee catchers.
Yes.
As I remember.
They're kind of known in the 3 cities, because Gdansk is Gdansk, Sopot, and Gdynia together.
They call them the 3 cities, the Tri-Cities, right?
Yeah, Tri-Cities, Trójmiasto.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time in all of 3 of those cities.
Yeah.
I tended to grow into Gdansk. First I was in Gdynia, then I was in Sopot, and then I was in Gdansk.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of moved south.
Fantastic. Hey, look, stay with us. Glenn and I are going to go for a walk. Tune in. I haven't seen this guy for a while, so we're enjoying talking. Hope you're enjoying it too. And look at this view. I promised you Gdansk. Look at that.
And let me give some advice to travelers.
Yeah. Please
Anybody who's coming by train, if you're going to come here by train, don't do anything like take a taxi or wait for a bus or anything to go to Old Town. Just walk there, and make sure if you look at your, smartphone or whatever, try to pass through this way, next to Ratusz Staromiejski, which is to the left behind the camera. And here where we are now at the canal. And this is the Wielki Młyn, which means the big granary. What, granary? No.
Big mill.
Mill.
Big mill. Yeah.
The big mill.
It's not a granary, that's...
Yeah, it's a mill. It's a mill.
Yeah.
So this is the big mill. This is the water. When it rains hard here, this water just rushes straight through here. And this is the way to come, the most interesting way to come from the train station to Old Town. So go down Korzenna Street at the statue of, see the statue of Copernicus.
Yeah.
And,
which is just over
yeah, right over there, right over to
in this little
our
park.
right.
Yeah.
And next to the Ratusz.
What's that behind the tall building there?
That's one of the churches.
It's a church,
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
one of the churches.
It's a church with a clock, though. Actually, yes, we can see the crosses at the top, but it has a clock.
I'm agnostic, and I was brought up Lutheran, so I'm not a Catholic expert. So I'm not going to tell you much about the churches.
But you know a church when you see one.
Yeah. You didn't?
You ain't no devil child.
A lot of the churches.
Just because you're doing James Brown.
A lot of the churches, in this part of Europe, you can't quite tell if they're a rat house or a church sometimes.
I know what you mean. That's what I was saying. It looks like it could be the town.
Probably sometimes they even change it
to the town mayor's house.
Like when the communism came, they might have even turned some of the churches into
town hall.
Into town halls and back.
Okay, we're going to go for a walk. I promise you. Stay with us. I'm enjoying this. Hope you are too.